AM 1220 KHTS, the Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. I'm Jeff Gerard, joined by Mr. Mark Murphy, and of course your host, Arif Halaby, talking about your family's finances. Really, guys, what's it going to take for you to get out of bad debt? You and your family. This isn't just about you. This is you as the leader of yourself, your wife, your kids, your husband, maybe you're taking care of your folks. What's it going to take for you to manage your finances, get out of bad debt, plan for retirement, and better yet, I know this is a long ways away, but what's it going to take for you to stay retired? I just had a conversation recently with someone that has spent the last 5 years retired from about the age of 50, maybe 50 and a half, has been retired successfully for the last four and a half years, and has spent the last 6 to 8 months contemplating how she's going to go back to work. She's bored to death. And when you take a look at someone that says, okay, I'm going to work really hard, I'm going to spend the next 10, 20, 30 years working my tail off so that I can stop trading my time for money, amass enough wealth that I can have that last for the rest of my life. And here we are. Someone's done that, I'm sure as many people have. And now they're taking all of their time and effort and putting it forth to finding either a job or something valuable to them, or where they can create some value for themselves in retirement. I put hanging quotes around retirement because it doesn't always mean that you stop working. Wouldn't you say, Mark?
Well, I hear this from a lot of people, and we hear this a lot from those of us, the boomers, as we hit this in the 50s and 60s. We have to be able to have something that's meaningful. I mean, I don't know if we're just bringing in the money for the family. That's pretty meaningful.
Yep.
It's the old go out and, hunt it down.
Sure.
That keeps us going for a long time. The other is we climb to the peak. We want to be the top of the company, or we want to be the top salesperson, and we go into that battle for a long time. And then the other is we've done this, and maybe or maybe not, we've found that other thing that captures our attention. Maybe it's to help out a major nonprofit, get involved in charity work, and get involved in traveling or doing something dramatically different. Maybe we want to take some buddies and head overseas for a couple years.
Sure.
But we have to have figured that out. Mm-hmm. Because when all that's gone, if we've just suddenly retired or stopped, we're empty. And an awful lot can't take it. Many die.
Sure.
They die from boredom, and they die from health.
And you're going to see a death coming to you, and it's such a harsh word, but in different ways. It's not just the physical aspect. It could be your emotional side. It could be your spiritual side. So many people, when we say plan for retirement, it doesn't just mean save up a bunch of money, or even save up a bunch of money in a bunch of different places. It means really plan for what you're going to do. You've heard us talk about, if you've listened to us for 5 minutes, heard us talk about the red zone, the 5 years before and the 5 years after that said retirement date. Those are important. I can't stress to you how important those times are, because the 5 years prior to your retirement is where you're starting to shape and some of your tools. Let's call that your money, where you're starting to position your assets in a fashion that are starting to look towards more safer approaches to what's going to take for you to have income for the rest of your life. I mean, we don't want to amass a bunch of money and then lose it, 5 minutes after we retire. So we certainly don't want to do that. So now that's prior to coming into retirement. Now we say, okay, here's the date. It's January 1st, I'm going to retire. Or some people wait for their birthday so they can get that extra bump in the pension. I'll tell you what, look a little bit past that. And when I say a little bit, I don't mean 5 minutes or even 5 years. What's it going to look like for the next 10 years? Take your retirement in 5 at a very minimum, or 10-year blocks, and say, what will I do over the next 3 decades? Because most people will aspire to live 30 years in retirement. So we're going to give you some tips and tricks today on what it's going to take for you to manage your family's finances and really stay retired, as we've been talking about. Again, I'm Jeff Gerard, joined by Mr. Mark Murphy and, of course, Arif Halaby. This is the Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Corey Peck, principal of West Creek Academy in Valencia, and you're watching SCV-TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Escape reality at the Ivy Day Spa in Valencia. Relax your mind in our tranquil solarium. Unwind during your VIP massage. Rejuvenate with advanced diamond tip microdermabrasion or choose from a variety of facial treatments. For a unique spa experience, visit the Grotto where you'll enjoy a full body exfoliating scrub in an exotic setting. Schedule your escape today and receive a 50% discount on a VIP Grotto experience with your next full service treatment at the Ivy Day Spa in Valencia.
Hi, I'm Dan Sturkle, General Manager at Nissan Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers. I'm standing next to two of my most favorite vehicles, the completely redone 2013 Altima with its unbelievable 38 miles to the gallon, and the 2012 fully electric Leaf. It goes 100 miles for under $5. Here at Nissan of Valencia, not only do we have some of the lowest prices on our new Nissans, but we also have extremely low prices on our vast inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at the all-new Nissan of Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers.
Hey, welcome back. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby, along with Jeff Gerard, Mark Murphy. Great first segment of the program. We're talking about retirement, making choices, doing the things that you can do. Look, just 8 weeks ago, the stock market was down for the entire year. You understand? 8 weeks, 2 months. 2 months ago, we were negative. And yet in the last 8 weeks, we are up about 13 or 14%. So if you are putting money into the market, right, each and every month, 401k, IRA contribution, whatever, it's monthly contribution, then great. When the market is down, you're buying more shares. When it's up, you're buying less shares. But you've got that dollar cost averaging thing happening, okay, because consistently every other week or every month, whatever it is, it's going into the account. But if you are taking money out of your account, right? You're pulling out. Do you want things that you purchased? If you're buying something, do you want it to be very expensive or very inexpensive?
Inexpensive.
Got it. Pretty simple, right? If you are selling things, which is what you're doing, by the way, remember, you're selling shares and exchanging those for dollars. You take those dollars and you go to the landlord or the mortgage company or the telephone company, whatever, and you buy a product, a good, or a service. So, if the value of those shares go down, i.e. the volatility of the stock market, so when it's down, you are now selling those shares for dollars, you need a fixed amount of dollars to live on, right? You need, let's say, $5,000 a month as your total. So you're going to pull $1,000 out of the market. But at this moment when you need it, the market is down. You have to sell more shares in order to get the same $1,000. So you don't get the benefit of timing the market because nobody knows. When is the top? When is the bottom? When is the middle? I don't know. You just know on the first every month you have bills due. On the 10th of every month bills are due. So those are very consistent and important things. So as Jeff and even Mark was saying about your financial life and retirement, the positioning of your assets is and should be much different than it was when you were in the market and contributing monthly because you were living on a paycheck that was coming in from the outside and paying you each month. And yet on the other side, you were spending that money and going, living your life. But what about the time when you're now switching things around and you're on that fixed income, if you will? That's when we think fixed products like a fixed indexed annuity or a fixed product would give you that comfort level, that safety. Now, if you still want to hit home runs, I was in Vegas recently. Great, you can do that. People gamble all the time. And some people gamble a lot. You know, my last visit, I don't gamble. That's not my thing. And I'll go for the shows or whatever. But I was with a friend of mine, and he took some money, and he had this, everybody has a system, took his money, put it in the market. I should say, I'm sorry, the roulette table. Yeah. Puts his money down, and, he doubles down if he wins or if he loses and all of that story. So at the end, he kept losing and losing. He'd won fairly consistently at the beginning. And then at the end, he kept losing, and he was losing big. And so now he was at $7,000 was on the table. $7,000. And if he won the next hand, his total after losing and winning, losing and losing, winning and winning, was $800. And he did win. But that was it. He didn't have any more money with him. That was all he was going to spend, was $7,000. So he had $7,000 at risk to make $700 or $800. You have to look at that and go, do you do the same thing with your accounts? Maybe. People do.
Sure. And looking at that as a parallel, you don't know how to control. I mean, there's no way you can control the market. So looking at that from the vantage point of you gambling each and every month, sure, there's the side of where you're building and like Arif talked about, that monthly contribution, it might make sense. But when you're starting to pull dollars out, that's where I think the real risk is.
Well, I always look at it as an investor. I look at it, I'm not in control. I don't understand it completely. I've got ideas about how it works. But here I am even trying to figure out when to pull out my mandatory IRA for my parents. Where's the market? I mean, we're just a few hundreds of dollars away from the peak before the crash. And when you look at it, we're not that far away. And yet we've had swings of hundreds, 200s, 300s in a day over the last months.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss.
When do you pull it out? Do you pull it at the top? What
Yeah.
if it goes higher? Kind of scary for a lot of people because
It's very difficult.
yeah, the bottom line, I think, when it comes to retirement is having a level of safety. That level of safety you put off to the corner and you say, even if I lose parts of this money or it goes down and it takes me 10 years to get it back, okay, my lifestyle will be affected. I'm okay with that. I understand. But I've got a level of guarantee and safety on this side so I can continue to pay my bills. I can continue to feed my family. That works fine. So you want to have some in the market and play that risk, you can do that. But in retirement, I think you should start moving money more towards a safer place. It's just what I would do. And this is what I do for a living. And I know this stuff better than most, if not all my clients. And I can tell you that the risk of having it all in one place, people say it's diversified. Okay, so think about this. Next time your broker says it's diversified, I'm sorry, brokers, you're going to be a little upset at the end of this. Next time they tell you it's diversified, think of it this way. You're sitting in the front seat of the school bus or the back seat of the school bus. If the bus goes over the cliff, if the market goes down, everything goes over. Now, maybe it's going to take you a little longer to go over because you're in the back seat of the bus, but you still go down. How about getting a whole different vehicle, like not the market, right? I mean, what can you put your retirement account in? I'm not saying any of this is right for any of you. Of course, I've never met you, right? Maybe some of you, but really. Number one, the market. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, about the same. Pick the correct one, you win big. Pick the wrong one, and you lose big. Real estate, gold, silver. You can invest in bonds that are privately owned. You can invest in annuities. You can invest in CDs or savings account at banks. You realize you can put your retirement account in a whole host of places. But if the person selling you the retirement account doesn't earn money in those other places, they are not going to tell you about them because they cannot, maybe legally, or they cannot because they're not going to get paid. So why would they tell you about something that they're not in a charity business? So keep that in mind. I'm okay if you want to have some at risk. That's your business. But you've got to have a level of protection for you and your family. It just makes sense. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. 16 years, 16 and a half, well, no, 16 years, not quite 16 and a half yet. That's a long time to be in a business and see ups and downs. But it's certainly not 25 years, which is what you're going to be expecting to live in retirement. So you better make sure that you're dealing with somebody who understands this. You better make sure that you want to keep some money with that broker, let them prove themselves great. When are we selling? All you do is call me and say to buy. Everything's buy. Did you ever call and say sell, take some profit? No. Why not? Oh, I know, because you don't get paid if the money is not under management. So it has to stay somewhere in that bus, because everything in the school bus, you pay a fee. Pretty scary, but I think it's the way it goes.
You know, taking a look at that, you have to really see what the value is of having that person managing that part of your financial life, especially, and we've seen it so many times, that someone has an account. They think that's a retirement plan. They think because they have a 401k or a 403b or they have an IRA, my guy manages that, my gal manages that. Well, that's quite a bit of risk and a lot riding on, which is pretty much your entire future, because you hope to build that account up to one day, you know, supplement Social Security or whatever else you decide you're going to live on. That's a heck of a lot of trust you're putting in that one person or that one institution.
Well, I had a very bad experience. You know, it was back in the mid 2000 range. My business had gone bad. I needed desperately to get money, and so of course we do the wrong thing. We go and we pull money out of our IRA. Well, it just so happens I pulled the money out. We pulled it in '07. in the beginning of '08.
Smart.
January of '08. Turned out to be the most brilliant move we could have made.
As if you knew it was coming. Man. Why didn't you tell everybody else?
Yeah, I wish we'd planned this. And we paid the penalty and we paid the tax on it, and that was negative. But bottom line, though, it turned out to be brilliant.
Probably you ended up netting more money than
we did
had you kept it in and rode the market down.
Sure.
We're going to come back in just a minute. I'm going to fill you in on a scam that, now I'm going to use that word a little lightly, which I don't know if you can use the word lightly, but I'm going to fill you in on something that's fishy, something that we found recently, that we have found, and a client is dealing with this literally as we speak. Going to fill you in a little bit on some of it, and then we'll kind of keep you updated on what we find out. Maybe it's not problems, maybe it's not a scam, maybe it's not an issue. But I think something's wrong. And so how do you find out if you have one of these types of accounts? We'll give you some tips when we come back. I'm Arif Halaby along with Mark Murphy and Jeff Gerard on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, we're the Cub Scouts from Pack 575.
We have a message for you. Always be prepared.
Watch SCVT TV. 1, 2, 3. Cub Scouts rule!
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
Will they remember you? Everything is image, and you need your image on everything. For the most cost-effective solution, visit AmericanLogosForYou.com to put the name you choose on the things you choose. Advertise your company, promote your school, commemorate your family reunion. The possibilities are endless. Visit AmericanLogosForYou.com because everything is image.
I can't grasp why, but Bob's pitch seemed on target somehow.
Right. I can't put my finger on it, but Bob was memorable.
I agree. Bob's pitch made the right impression.
Let's award the contract to Bob then.
Make sure people remember you. Visit AmericanLogosForYou.com because everything is image.
The Donut Inn on Soledad Canyon Road has a new name, California Bakery and Cafe. You still get the donuts, hot chocolate and fresh squeezed juices, the sandwiches, croissants, and our famous tamales. But you'll also get cakes for parties, celebrations, and major events. Our unique bread baskets offer a one-of-a-kind gift, all with the personal service you have come to expect for the last 35 years. Get a cup of coffee and a Danish 24 hours a day. California Bakery and Cafe.
Hi, welcome back. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard and Mark Murphy, talking about your family's finances, getting out of debt, managing money, planning for retirement, and what I think is even of greater importance is staying retired. Everybody likes the time off. They think retirement is like a vacation or like hanging out or, and then you start getting used to it. I've seen people on unemployment and they're like, I just need time. I got to do something for me. I got to take time. I got so much done around the house, and I'm like, oh boy, I could write a book about these things, and it would be 1 page long because it's all the same stories. And then you get to the place where you're saying, oh, did we plan properly way back when? We retired early, or we retired when we thought we were going to, but we lost money in the market, and so it may not be enough to last as long as we live. So there are all of these equations, and along the way, your goal is to accumulate assets and to set money aside. I'll let Jeff kind of set it up a little bit as to what happened with this particular client. And look, most of our clients, I'd say in the 90 percentile, are referrals. It's the kind of business we've built. 9 out of 10 folks that are new clients are referred by somebody else. We love that. It's a great testament to hopefully what we do for people and the kind of company we are. I like that. So that this person now came from a referral, like a referral of a referral, like twice removed or something. So fill us in a little bit.
Give me a little bit more color on that, if you would.
Well, with the recent case that we had.
Oh.
Where just in today's conference call.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to try to save the names to protect the innocent, if you will. Or the guilty, maybe in this case.
Well, it's interesting. Someone bebopped along, did their job, worked for a company for, oh gosh, I'd say in the late 90s started with this company. And in the last couple of years, decides to separate from this company. Whether he went on to work for himself or another company is neither here nor there. However, this company that he worked for for, let's say, over a decade, had been putting money into what was called, his retirement plan, his pension plan, his cash balance plan. So very little information was given to him. And upon meeting this gentleman, gave us some statements, and we started scratching our heads a little bit. And we thought, well, there's not very much information on this piece of paper. But we took it with a grain of salt and said, okay, what would you like to do with this money? He says, well, I'd like to preserve it, grow it a little bit, keep it safe. Okay, fantastic. We can help you with that. So we start to move forward with this. And I'll tell you what, I've not seen a bigger shell game than I've seen in the last couple of months, because this has been an ongoing process.
And let me share this with you, because we're going to expose this company. Because I can tell you what I think happened. I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm not going to tell you the name. I'm going to tell you how I think they do it. And then in your world, you can see, hopefully, that this is not the case. Whenever you receive a statement from your retirement account, and it doesn't have a large company's name on it, in other words, it doesn't have the investment company or the insurance company's name on it. It has, KHTS retirement plan on the top. Well, how much is in that account? They could go to Excel. Anybody can, if you don't have something created in New York or San Francisco or downtown LA, wherever, created by usually a computer, and it says this is how much is in your account, this is what the balance is. If it's somebody sitting in Microsoft Word, which is the case with this statement, and they put in an account number, a plan ID, and they call it a profit-sharing plan. And in this profit-sharing plan, what is the underlying investment? Where are the dollars sitting? I don't know. We're just trying to roll it over and put it into a safer place. The guy says, it's gone up and down. This is the balance. Well, on his statement, where it says the underlying, it says pooled investments. Pooled, like a swimming pool, pooled investments. Really? So how do you find out what the value is of that? Well, it's just in some of these accounts, and we've seen them, people will put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, some high risk, some this, some low risk, some safer stuff, and they put it into a big bucket. They average the rates of return, and everybody receives a piece of the whole. Follow me? So if you have 10% of the plan, whatever the interest is, you get 10% of the dollars, which is the same percentage. So if your account earned 5% interest this year, you receive 5% because you get a piece of all the accounts. It's kind of what a pooled investment is. But in the case in his particular case, we've started in March. We just want the account, can you give us a statement? We don't have a statement. We'll send you one at the end of the week, Friday, next Thursday. Guy's on vacation. Oh, he's not here. We can't answer any questions. What? Bookkeeper says, oh, you're rude. No, we're not rude. If we were rude, how could we stay in business? The guy just wants his money. Nope. You are in a position of saying, is this money even there? So when you get a statement, and the statement says the name of the company, and it doesn't have Mass Mutual, A.G. Edwards, Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter used to be there, I don't care. If it has a company that is big, you can go on the web and find it, great. You may like it, you may not. It could be MetLife, it could be Oppenheimer funds, American funds, it could be anything. If it's a legitimate third-party company, that's what it is. And the accounts go up or down, you can go on the web and see the value of it, whatever it is. But if the assets are held and administered by the company's bookkeepers / CPA or whatever, then what is the underlying investment? Can the company borrow its own retirement plan to pay its own bills? Probably. Should they? Is it legal? I don't know. I'm not an attorney. You got to figure that out. But is something wrong somewhere? And here this gentleman has $72,000, $74,000 in this account. He's in his 50s. Is that a lot of money for somebody in their 50s? Yes, it is. Could he ever make that money up again? No. It's not all of his retirement, but it's certainly a big part of it. Why don't you lose $70,000 to an oops, sorry? So these are big dollars that they are playing this game. We'll keep you updated, and at the end of the day, if it looks like there's an investigation or a lawsuit filed, we'll fill you in on that as well. Because something's wrong somewhere, our instincts tell us, we turn them on to an attorney, whether they decide to file a lawsuit or do a letter thing, that's their own deal. But just know something is wrong somewhere, and people give you the runaround and they're on vacation. It should be simple. Here's the forms you fill out. If you want to transfer it to a bank or put it into another investment or whatever you want to do with it, they give you forms. That's how you find out. The forms have a company's name on it that's a big bad company that's on the news sometimes. Great. neat company, good company, it doesn't matter. It's your money. Don't ever let your retirement company say it isn't your money. Very important.
Arif, this just strikes me so much of you hear about the, when I talk about the Barry Madoff schemes and the schemes that hit Orange County and up here, and they always have these investment company, the name of a guy, okay? But again and again, when the people are interviewed who lost the money, in many cases it can be hundreds, millions, whatever, they'll say, I didn't get a regular statement, or the statement I got just had a name. It was like you said, it came off of an Excel or Word.
Yep.
But it wasn't something you could go online and check into. I haven't run into where you hear about that they went online and could manage it. Typically, if you do get any information, it's that simple kind of, there's just a name there. And I can't understand when people say they trust enough to do that when there is such a significant percentage of fraud that comes from that direction.
We have told people, when you come to us as a client, we give you a notebook. It has a summary of your accounts, account numbers, how much went in, where it is, and it's in an Excel spreadsheet. Then you turn the page over, and it's information on exactly how to go to the web, to the individual companies, and find out the same information. We do a summary because of convenience. But you can go directly to the web, you sign on with your password, with your username, you pull it out, decide how much is there, where it is, you can contact the company's 800 number, go around us, no problem. It should be that open to ensure that you have that credibility and that ability to go in and decide, in fact, if this is the right place to put your money. Do you want to take some out? Do you want to add some? How much interest are you earning, if any? Did you make money? Did you lose money? You should be able to get a summary from the company that you work with, hopefully us, we'd love that, Total Financial. But better yet, you're going to get a statement every month or every quarter or every year, depending on the company, but you're going to get a statement from the company themselves in that company's letterhead with their return address, not something that comes from my office where I can just fill in the blanks. You see that all the time out here. We had a $14 million scam, we had a $12 million scam. Both of those we kind of helped catch the bad guys, if you will, or at least uncover enough to say something's wrong somewhere. So I think you have to look and decide, are you in a legitimate retirement account? You can bring them to us. We're happy to deal with it. You can go to hometownstation.com and click on Total Financial Solutions. Send us an email. We'll be happy to take a look at it. It'll take us 10 or 15 minutes. We'll give you our opinion as to whether or not you're in a safe place or you want to make some movement there. And then I'll give you some tips on how you can decide if it's a legitimate retirement account. For a lot of people, you may not always have what you think you have. I know I didn't. That's why I'm in the business. 16 years ago, I got taken, and I thought I was smarter than that. So I said, never again. Also, look, you can give us a call, 753-9683. That's 753-9683. Or go to tfswealth.com. It stands for Total Financial Solutions. So tfswealth.com. I'm Arif Halaby, along with Jeff Gerard and Mark Murphy. We'll be back in just a minute on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Dirk Fisher, and you're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
You chose the Santa Clarita Valley for quality of life, but you also need quality of health. In the last few years, Henry Mayo has dramatically advanced care for our maturing population, introducing life-saving cardiovascular services, achieving an advanced primary stroke center designation, receiving the highest cancer program accreditation, and developing new joint replacement and spine programs. In fact, Henry Mayo is now a Best Los Angeles Regional Hospital. Henry Mayo, helping ensure your quality of life through better quality of health.
Scratch Golf Accelerated, Santa Clarita's unique indoor golf training and fun center. We have great programs for kids and adults of all levels. Rain or shine, we're here to improve your golf game and have fun doing it.
It's great to practice with just the girls at Scratch.
We enjoy playing in the adult league at night. It's a great time.
And they make it so much fun for the kids too.
We love Scratch!
Come see us at Scratch.
Okay, we're back at Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby with Mark and Jeff. Okay, We're talking about your family's finances, how to kind of make sure that you're not going to get scammed in the process of your retiring. Sometimes there's scams that are legitimate. Bad guys go out to take your money. They're going to lie, cheat. The paperwork is wrong. It's not true, all of that. Then there are other times that you lose your money where it is too risky for what you're putting and what you're capable of. Meaning, if you have this much dollars, a big chunk of money, we'll call it $500,000, and you want to take 50,000 of it and put it at risk and take a big chance with it and invest in your brother-in-law's restaurant or something, and if it works, great, and if not, you're not going to lose your money, but if the relationship with your brother-in-law is happier, or your parents, right, you're okay with that, then fine. But don't take half or 2/3 or all of your retirement and put it in something where you're counting on somebody else to go to work every day for you. Because if they don't, or if he dies, or if he gets sick or disabled, you've lost your retirement, he says sorry, and you, what, go back to work? So you need to keep in mind that the process here, if you want to take risk, fine it, but have it logically done. Because part of this chance of retiring is making sure you have a consistent rate of return somewhere. You have a level of income. I used to think, and listen, I'm telling you, I used to think this, that give me $1 million and that's it. That's all I want. Life is good. I can turn that into 10 million in 5 days. And as I got older and wiser, I thought, well, okay, so how about just $6,000 a month or $10,000 a month forever? Go up a little bit with inflation. How long would it take? So what people would normally do is they'd go in and divide it. They'd say, okay, in 110 months, you'd break even. I'm like, no, I don't want you thinking that way. I want you to think and understand that you have a guaranteed source of income. And if that guaranteed source of income is away from risks that could eat it up, at least significant risks, then good for you. But just today on the radio, they're talking about, well, I guess it was CNBC. They're talking about school bonds in a town in which my wife grew up in, school district bonds that was her school district, elementary, junior high, and high school, her district. And now they were very creative, so to speak, quotes around being tricky, and they borrowed so much money to pay so many administrators and teachers and educators and certificated and classified staff and build grandiose schools that there is no way that they can pay this off. There's questions whether or not the school district may have to file bankruptcy. And it's a premier, very nice area, Very rural when she grew up. Now it's those rural lots have beautiful big homes on them. But there's just not enough land and not enough tax revenue to charge these people for what they're paying. You cannot promise big amounts of dollars on future gains. You just can't do that. They used to, and they still do. But we don't have the money. And if your retirement is counting on a school district managing those bonds properly, so that the guy goes, oh, I quit, I'll resign, and he takes, a golden parachute of $250,000 with him, and a pension plan from the state, because you can't take that away because I signed a contract, then what? You don't get to retire because the guy goes bankrupt and they pay you half of what it's worth, or they have to renegotiate interest or something. What happens? So I want you to be careful about where you put these dollars. Make sure that you have not all your eggs in one basket. We tell people, look, put your money spread out. Put it in various companies. Put it in various things. Do whatever you feel comfortable with, but be careful because it's your family's future, not the broker, not the insurance company, not the investment company, not the CEO who's making $10 million a year, doesn't care about you for sure. It's yours. You've worked hard for it. You've inherited it. You have gained those dollars, hopefully legally somehow, for you and your family. Safer places to put it, Jeff. We're seeing indexed annuities being more and more the place of choice. Billions of dollars a year now going in it, actually.
Well, if you take a look at what an indexed annuity really can do for you, some people have really given annuities a bad rap, whether it's the astronomical fees that are part of that, or the chance that people can lose a lot of money in certain types. But knowing really what annuities are and kind of the three classes, other people would say on the other side of the spectrum they're too conservative. Well, I'll tell you, that middle of the road where you can be rewarded in the form of interest by the market or whatever index you're following. So let's just break this down quite simply. To be participating in the market or being rewarded some of the market's ups, those are two different things. If you don't have to take the risk and you can still make some interest in your account, I think that's a pretty nice thing. Now, certainly hitting home runs, everybody wants to do that, but as we talked about earlier, and Arif's example of the person at the gambling table, at the roulette table, as he's going more and more in the hole, putting more and more money down because he knows he has to make that money back. That's a whole other school of thought. And I've sat with people and I've talked to people that have said, I'm getting older, closer to retirement, I need to take more risk, and it just blows my mind. Well, how about putting the dollars that you've accumulated in a place where you can still earn interest, hopefully not ever dip into the principal? I mean, maybe a little bit, but certainly a lot less than if you were to take a great big hit in the market. I just think having that safety net that Arif talked about, the ability to earn interest and guaranteed income, I mean, that's just peace of mind, and it would help me sleep at night. I know that.
You're going to see more and more baby boomers start transitioning away from being a millionaire by the time they're 15 years old. That was the thought, watching and seeing somebody, and start moving down that road that one day they're going to, all of that, right? And becoming more into, wow, I better have a guaranteed source of income. So their life starts to shift a little bit and becomes more on this steady stream. And Mark, are you seeing more and more of the boomer generation kind of focusing in on income?
Oh, we've changed, because we were for many, many years, and I was right in that cusp of people who said, it's all about me. Gather toys, gather houses, hit that dollars, hit that multimillionaire stage, and man, it was all about the suits and what you're going to have, and you put it all together, and you weren't thinking you're getting more and more income coming in, and you aren't thinking about the fact that you're spending more and more out that back door.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you realize it's not there.
Yeah.
Whether it's the market or the real estate or the job is gone, or your business went, and suddenly you turn around and you go, okay, maybe I need to reevaluate and simply have the money coming in that's going to cover my needs. And what are my needs? What do I really need? And is it going to be a decent life? That's a whole change in how they operate.
I think as we start to see what matters to us, and it's the old adage, that you can't take the stuff with you, and it's what you leave behind. Do you want to leave behind things that rot and decay and break down over time? Or do you want to leave behind memories, buildings, monuments, if you will, through a philanthropic and a charitable organization, or just leaving money to your church or a charity, or for pets and animals, or, do you get it? Habitat for Humanity, great organizations. Help the Children, an incredible food pantry organization that I think surpasses any food pantry I know. Help the Children organization, amazing. Wouldn't it be great if you pass away, leave money behind, and they change people's lives? Or do you want to leave behind an RV that has 62,000 miles, and boy, did you see the world, and somebody's got to pay $400 a month space rent on that thing? So they let it go back to the bank, or they sell it for pennies on the dollar because your kids don't care. So we start to think differently as we get older, right? We have enough stuff. As you get older, you kind of settle in. It's almost like this grounding and this meeting, if you will, where we start to maybe lower our expectations into the realistic realm based on the realistic of your situation, right? So those kind of settle in. And your dollars, and you've done well, and you've saved, and that kind of. So they settle right at a mid-range somewhere, high or low mid-range, and you kind of go, and this is good. This is good. But meanwhile, your kids don't talk to you, your grandkids don't know you, and your daughter took a job in Seattle and your son in Dallas, and who are you? So the things that matter start to shift. So we're going to continue with that when we come back. I think this is important because retirement is much more than just making dollars and saving money, isn't it? It's about changing the lives of the people behind us. We'll come back in just a minute. I'm Arif Halaby on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on AM 1220 KHTS.
Hello, I'm Gail Pinsker. You're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Today I'm going to talk about Patty. Patty's best characteristics, she's stupid. Stupid and ugly. Everything she does is ugly. Watch her eat. Watch her stuff her face. Look at her. Greasy hair, dirty fingernails. It makes me want to vomit. Get a life, Patty. Thank you.
Santa Clarita is Southern California's entertainment destination. Just minutes from LA, Santa Clarita's year-round weather means you can enjoy year-round fun. Like thrilling coasters and water parks, premium shopping, destination day spas, fine dining, outdoor adventure, and major events such as wine festivals, golf tournaments, and the Cowboy Festival. Santa Clarita, always in season.
Hi, welcome back. Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard and Mark Murphy. Okay, we're talking about your family's finances, retiring, how to stay retired specifically, even how to avoid some of the scams along the way. So how can you tell if the person you're working with or the organization you're working with is legitimate? Is there really an organization and dollars behind it? Did they really not take your money out and go buy a car or you paid for their next trip around the world? Well, there's a few things you can do. Every organization is monitored or reviewed. Anyway, any organization that accepts your money and that are retirement. It's various certification, I'm trying to think of the right word, but boards of organizations that review, licensing boards, organizational boards. There's somebody that reviews everybody in our industry. So it could be FINRA, which stands for the Financial Regulatory Commission. It's our big organization that monitors brokers in this country. It could be the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC. It could be the Department of Insurance. It could be the California State Department of Corporations. It could be the Department of Banking if you're working with a bank. So there are a lot of organizations, depending on who's working with you and what products they're using, etc. So you can check those independently. You can go around the agent or the broker. There's going to be a licensing number somewhere on their card or a registration number, something on their literature, in which you can usually, with a few clicks nowadays, find out what you need to make sure they are licensed and make sure they're legitimately offering products and services. There have been people in the past that have come to us, and we pull up the paperwork because we're trying to figure it out, and by chance we'll find out this person isn't licensed currently or wasn't ever licensed or let it lapse 6 months or 2 years ago, and yet they're still selling products under somebody else's name. Sometimes there are weird things that happen like that, and of course we advise this person to do what they have to do to ensure their dollars are safe. So these are processes that you should do to make sure you're dealing with the right person. Now, all that being said, in today's world, you're going to find people that complain about people because that's just the way some people are. So I wouldn't take that as the way it is. You know, I can say anything about anybody on the internet or even on the radio for at least one time. You know, it goes out and it's gone. So be very careful about just taking one person's word, good or bad. And also, when you meet with them, ask them some tough questions. Can you give me 2 or 3 or 4 people that you've worked with that are happy, that are similar in my scenario, meaning, you know, in their 50s, going to retire in 5 to 10 years. Whatever that might be, you want somebody who's gone through that or in the middle of it. That's very important.
Well, and I like that referral process, as we've called it. And I would even take it a step further and talk to someone that is working with that particular broker or that firm that is in retirement. Did they help them build some of that and preserve some of that wealth prior to retirement? Or did they meet them at retirement? And what are they doing to help maintain that lifestyle, if you will? Because that's going to come from your dollars. And if they're not protected or allocated properly, that could be something that you may want to take a look at. So always keeping that in mind, that this is your money. Someone is merely advising you or giving you their opinion on what you should do with it.
Yeah, and then there are folks who legitimately make a living on selling you the product or service. They're on commission. That's what they do. So just know that that doesn't mean it's bad or good. Every product has a commission/fee, compensation, salary built into it. The profit margin is designed to pay the electric bill and the person. Nobody works for free. So whatever it's called, as long as it's revealed and you understand it and you're okay with it, I'm all right with that. So be careful. Watch your retirement because nobody else is going to. and certainly not as good as you. You can always work with a company that takes it straight up. That's us. I think we are one of the best companies in Santa Clarita and even Southern California. That's Total Financial Solutions. This is our Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard and Mark Murphy. Thanks for listening on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.